Tectonic shift. Shaping the future with innovation.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Prompt Engineering Podcast. Throughout this podcast, we worked with prompts already. We learned that a prompt is your ChatGPT input that describes your problem or your request that you have for ChatGPT. And this makes prompts one of the most important. It is the most important feature that you have to know to make the most out of ChatGPT. Therefore, in this lecture, I want to have a look at some examples on how to use prompts, some basic examples only though, because in the upcoming episodes, we will dive deep into the prompt engineering and there we will learn all about prompts and how to write the perfect prompt for your needs. So let's get started with prompt which simply asks for simple facts. Such a prompt could be how many citizens does London have? This is a simple fact-based question. ChatGPT quickly explains its cutoff date September 2021 and then returns the population count according to its sources. Same thing applies for the next question. Who was the first president of the United States? This is also a simple fact-based question. A simple fact-based prompt, so no big surprise, ChatGPT returns that George Washington was the first president, again with some additional information. These questions are not related to each other and these are also questions you could use Google for because it would return many results. But all results would state the population count of London and that George Washington was the first president of the United States. So simple facts, also fact related but slightly different is the following prompt. Who is Michael Jordan? Now most of you would say, well, Michael Jordan is a basketball player, and if I ask ChatGPT, no big surprise, ChatGPT also comes up with Michael Jordan here. Nothing wrong about this, and indeed I was looking for Michael Jordan. But ChatGPT came up with this solution because based on the patterns and probabilities it has due to its dataset it was trained with, it assumes that if I look for Michael Jordan, I am looking for the basketball player. If I would Google Michael Jordan, I would find other Michael Jordans as well. Probably still the basketball player would be among the top results. So this is nothing bad. ChatGPT only returns one result, we know that already. However, these are simple fact-based prompts. I mentioned that, but we can also use prompts differently in ChatGPT. ChatGPT is context aware. This means that it remembers, more precisely, it remembers the topics discussed in a specific chat. Therefore, we can also write prompts assuming that ChatGPT is aware of what was discussed earlier in this chat. Let's say we ask ChatGPT what is spaghetti carbonara. It is a very delicious food though. Then we would get an answer and then we could ask, please give me the recipe. We don't mention the spaghetti, but as ChatGPT is context aware, it should know that the recipe refers to the spaghetti. And even more, we could ask afterwards that we need a shopping list with all ingredients for this specific recipe. But as I know that spaghetti contains meat, I bought the meat already, so this is not required. So let's now add exactly these prompts to ChatGPT and let's see what the output looks like. So I will add a new chat for this and now we ask what the spaghetti is and no big surprise, ChatGPT tells us about the Italian dish and gives us some more facts about the spaghetti. And now with our next prompt, please give me the recipe, we initialize this conversation like style with ChatGPT. So instead of mentioning that we wanna cook spaghetti again, we assume that ChatGPT knows that we are talking about the spaghetti, so ChatGPT remembers the context of our conversation. Therefore, by just adding please give me the recipe, we get back the recipe for traditional spaghetti carbonara. And this is what makes ChatGPT such a great tool actually, and it feels like human interaction. You can't just ask questions, you don't have to repeat yourself because you know that ChatGPT knows what you are talking about. Keeping in mind though, ChatGPT is just a large language model, so it's all about probabilities and patterns. But still, the feeling is like interacting with a human being and this makes it very intuitive. So now ChatGPT provided a recipe in detail and also the ingredients, and now in the next prompt we'll ask for the shopping list with all ingredients. We refer to the initial prompt where we talked about the spaghetti and to the second prompt where we talked about the recipe. Additionally, we also want to exclude something, the meat, as we bought this already. This prompt again shows us this conversation like style ChatGPT understood, it doesn't really understand it. I mentioned this already, but pretends to understand what we wanna have and therefore provides the shopping list for the recipe of the previous output, excluding the meat of course. So these are two different ways how to use prompts in ChatGPT. Either this Google-like style we all know from the past, or this new and actually amazing conversation-like style which takes the entire conversation into context and therefore makes it a lot more exciting to get the output that you need. That's all for today. Please stay tuned for exciting prompt engineering episodes coming up next under this podcast. Until then, bye bye.